And South Korea is stepping up measures to contain the outbreak there as new infections double. With 204 cases, South Korea now has the highest number of infections outside mainland China. Most are linked to a 61-year-old woman who visited a church in Daegu. The government had declared Daegu and the adjacent Cheongdo areas special management zones. And more on the situation in South Korea, we're joined by Professor Rowland Kao from the University of Edinburgh. Professor Kao, why could we be seeing this sudden spike in South Korea?
So the amount of transmission that goes from person to person is going to be inevitably highly variable. Not everybody does the same thing. Not everybody produces the same amount of virus. So what you may be seeing is simply an element of random chance, some combination of factors which led to this high number of cases. So it's not something to be overly concerned about on a global scale, certainly.
Professor Kao, the Shincheonji churches, they're now closed and they will actually conduct their sermons online. So is this something that authorities elsewhere in the region should be learning from?
So obviously it's going to be up to the individual health authorities to determine what the best measures are for their country or their region, and for individual private groups to determine whether they need to do anything else. I would think, and this is only speculation, that the worry here is that if you have people who are coming together in large numbers in close confined places, that can increase the chances of the disease being transmitted. And in particular, if you have members of the same church, even if they're not members of the same congregation, there's more likely to be social contact across different congregations, and that increases the risk that those people may be exposed to.
Earlier this week, the World Health Organization cautioned against overreaction, but it has since warned against complacency. A bit of mixed messages here. What's your take?
Yes, it's a very tricky balance to try to maintain, because I think one of the things that people forget is that, this obviously is a matter of considerable concern, but our regular seasonal flu is actually causing more cases and more deaths currently than the COVID-19. So in that sense, there are other disease problems which are actually more serious. However, what we have here is uncertainty. So there's a lot of things we don't know about the virus, and because we do not currently have a good way of preventing it, that is the argument against complacency. So yes, a tricky balance to have, but one has to try to do both.
And just to get your thoughts going forward, so how do you sort of see things sort of playing out from here?
Well, I think one of the things that we really need to be aware of is that there's a lot of things that we still don't know about the virus. Many promising signs, for example, suggestions that a vaccine may be imminent, but we really don't know, for example, if the virus was something that we'll see appear and then go away like SARS, or whether it's something that's going to have a recurrence. What will happen over the course of the next year? In particular, we have very little knowledge of cases in many countries. So, for example, Sub-Saharan Africa and South America are areas where there currently are no reported cases. If things are good, then there will be no outbreaks. However, it could be that outbreaks are occurring and we just don't know about them.
All right, well, many thanks for your time this evening, Professor Rowland Kao from the University of Edinburgh.